I am going to get a lot of people disagreeing with me because I might be the only person who likes Spider-Man and doesn't want this to be true. I don't want him to get the symbiote suit in Secret Wars. And if he does, I want it to be an extremely slow burn because I don't think we should get a symbiote themed story until movie 3 of his franchise, and then Venom, and then that movie should have other villains in it, but focus on the symbiote, like how this one focused on his arachnid. Spoiler, minor spoiler for Brand New Day. It's in the trailers. It focuses on his arachnid mutation. Um, and then Venom should be like the movie after that, and this is why I believe it. I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna explain it. I'm gonna explain it very rationally. It's dumb. Not the symbiote suit. It would be dumb to do it because they've got two options: the more modern, more appreciated way, the way everybody knows how it gets adapted, or the extreme classic version, exactly how it was in the comics. Let's talk about the first one. The first one, if you are not a comic reader, the symbiote suit did not originally alter Peter's personality at all. Just took his body out for joy rights. This was originally adapted in the Spider-Man the Animated Series, and that because they needed a reason for Peter to reject it so quickly, because they had super short runtime for their arcs, and they didn't want Peter to look cruel when doing it because they need the symbiote to be the bad guy, right? So that's how they came up with it, and it's been adapted like that ever since, especially since the Raimi movies made it so popular. Because in all honesty, as much as I love the Raimi movies, and I think they do a great job of capturing the essence of Spider-Man, they adapt more from that show than they do from the comics, realistically. Which is why I think that show is like top tier. It's really good. It's like deadass, like one of the best. It's got its moments where it's like, ooh, what is it doing? But anyways, not the topic. So, doing that. If you look at all the good adaptations of that arc, where they change his personality over time using the symbiote, and oh, that's what happens. Let's look at it. The Raimi movies, Spectacular Spider-Man, Spider-Man the Animated Series. Thumbs up. You did it. Those are really the only three good ones that I can think of, because the other ones don't do it correctly, where it slowly changes his personality. He doesn't notice himself. He notices because he notices his side cast acting different. His cast of side characters, even his villains, act different towards him, talk to him differently, and eventually someone gives him a reality check. I think Spider-Man 3, by the way, was stuffed with so much stuff that it just couldn't be done properly, because it's a fine enough movie on its own, but there's so much in it that it's hard to do a good movie with all of that. But I do think the adaptation of the symbiote is fairly good, outside of it being Venom. The way it affects Peter is fairly okay. I think it kind of set the standard for a while, and it wasn't a bad standard to set. But the way it was Venom was a bad standard to set. Now that we got that off the table, Tom Holland has no side characters. Again, minor spoilers for Brand New Day, but they don't remember him at the end of the movie. They make a big point that MJ doesn't remember him and that she doesn't love him. That is a very big point of the movie. That's like their character arc. Now, they do set up that they will probably be friends and they will probably connect and they'll probably know that he's Spider-Man and they'll grow a friendship. Maybe they'll fall in love again. Who knows? We get to watch it happen all over again. Isn't that so cute? But that's the problem. Unless you skip forward a bunch of years to where they're already, we're good friends, and they know each other inside and out again, he doesn't have a cast of side characters to bounce off of. Who's going to give him that reality check? Realistically, if I meet you and then 3 months later you're really moody and you're starting to get mean, damn, man. Didn't know you got like that when you were stressed. Didn't know you were going through such a bad time. Let me know if you need help or anything. And I'm going to give you time to chill. Because I don't know you. They don't know Peter. They don't know how he acts, who he is. There isn't that sense of deep connection. Even Flash Thompson, Spectacular Spider-Man Flash Thompson, is the one who gives him his reality check. And I think this is, at minimum, A tier Spider-Man project. And the only reason I put it in A tier is because there's other stuff that goes in S tier. Um, but genuinely, it's really good, and he gives him that reality check. And even though he's not in and out with Spider-Man, or in and out with Peter Parker, because they don't know that he's Spider-Man in that movie, and that's a better thing than them knowing he is Spider-Man. They just don't want to write good dialogue about that. But anyways, instead of doing that, right? Even though he doesn't know that he's Peter Parker, Spider-Man, he doesn't know that about the symbiote. He doesn't know Peter Parker inside and out. He knows Peter Parker. He's gone to school with him for years. Even though he bullies him a lot, they've been fairly, like, a lot of their interactions at school have been together. They do a lot of stuff together, and so, high key, he knows that's not Peter, man. Chill out. Alright, the Peter I know wouldn't do any of that stuff, even if I was giving him a hard time, and I'm not even giving you a hard time right now. He doesn't have that set of side characters. He's got MJ and he's got Ned, right? But they don't know him, and that's a big point of the movie. So you either do that story, and either nobody cares that they don't know him, nobody looks at it, and only a small minority of people are upset about that because it doesn't make sense and it would be bad writing. I would assume it would be bad writing because they don't know him. There's no one for him to bounce off around. I mean, the only villains that we know he's fought: Tombstone, Scorpion, Boomerang, the Hand, because those are the ones that are shown in the montage. I might be missing one or two, but those are the ones that are shown in the montage. They're the only ones that know him, that have interacted with him as Spider-Man. Those are the only villains that could interact with him as Black Suit Spider-Man and be like, wow, you're getting a lot meaner. Okay, so, well, we can't really do that route. Well, what if MJ and Ned remember him? What? So you're going to tell me that your solution to, oh, he doesn't have enough side characters for this to work, for this personality altering angle to really take hold and hit us emotionally and make it feel like it's important with the world and with the characters around it, is to undo the effects of the last movie in his trilogy, the most groundbreaking stage setting movie for this Spider-Man, and then again undo the consequences and things that happened in Brand New Day, because it is a very large point of MJ's character that she doesn't remember him and that she's not in love with him. That would be your solution. That's worse than if they just did it anyways without having a side character, because then only a small minority would be mad. A large majority of people would be mad that you just wiped away the entirety of their defining characters for the past movie and ending of a movie and got rid of all the consequences because you wanted a symbiote suit. That would be stupid and genuinely would piss me off. To absurd degrees. Like that I'm watching this movie and one of my favorite characters in all of fiction is bad. You have just made him shit on screen after he had a great movie come out. It was a mid to ass movie, but it had so much sauce. Okay, when I made that movie review saying I didn't like it and saying that was bad, Far From Home, by the way, I did say it had sauce. Well, I didn't say that specifically, but I did say that it was good. Like the action scene, great. The CGI, amazing. The fight scene with Mysterio, incredible. It's got the sauce. But he goes from good, really good film, mid but has sauce, to really good film. Even if people don't like it, they never say it's bad. It's a really good film. Incredible film. Probably one of the best Spider-Man films we've ever gotten live action. It definitely hits my top 4. I think it's in my top 3. It might be my top 2. I haven't made a list. I haven't thought about it super heavily. I just know it's peak. Okay, that's the run we're on. Good, good, good. Good, good, great. We shouldn't be undoing things. But again, I propose 2 solutions. So, how would it look if we just did it the normal, comic accurate way? Well, it doesn't affect his personality, so you kind of avoid all that with not having a side cast. But then it puts Marvel in this weird spot where it kind of has to be a slow burn because you have to watch him get progressively more and more tired and exhausted. And they could create the comic accurate scene now that the Fantastic Four will be in the main universe of him going and interacting with the Fantastic Four, and he can say, "Hey, something's up with my suit," and it's all like, "Oh, they're like, oh, well, that's actually living material," but it has to be a slow burn, right? Because in the original comics, doesn't really enhance his strength that much. It just kind of takes his body out for joyrides at night. So he has to be fine with it for at least one movie. If you do it that way, he has to be fine with it for at least one movie, because after that movie, then you can go, I'm so exhausted. I wasn't exhausted a year ago. And as someone who has sleeping problems, where I don't get to sleep a lot, I struggle to sleep, I struggle to wake up, I struggle to stay awake just all the time. No meds have fixed it. And to know, like, there was a point where I slept fine. This sudden urge to need to fix it. And like to, okay, what's going on with me? What's going on right now? That's what would be adapted. Not a sudden urge, but to know that something's not right. I'm not supposed to be this tired. And he wouldn't experience that month one of his symbiote suit. Trust me, I know from experience, you don't notice that month one. You notice that as you get farther and farther into it, the more and more exhausted you become. It's just like you won't want it for that first movie. And then after that, I think it's fine. The hard part that I think this puts Marvel in, I think this puts Marvel in a really hard part where who has read that original source material? I can tell you I haven't. I just made a video about Doctor Strange. It should be coming out yesterday. Go watch that if you haven't. Well, I admitted I didn't read the Secret Wars arc. I didn't read the arc right after that. For a long time of my life, I have just been reading old comic books that have been passed me down or whenever I just got my hands on them, and reading summaries and watching YouTube video essays. So I haven't read the original arc. I know a lot of people who like Spider-Man, watch the animated shows, watch the movies, probably haven't read the original arc. They will be confused and they will say it's bad because they don't get it. Because even though, yeah, that's how the symbiote was originally designed, characters change. And so, as a result, that's kind of not what the symbiote is anymore. And even now, the symbiote's been changing from thing that corrupts your personality and makes you evil to it changed to its own person. And then Eddie and Venom are their own person, and it happened in his stories, and that's a really cool development for the character. And now, obviously, a development like that has to be handled with care over time. But a development like how does this thing function when it first adapts to Peter kind of has to be that way, because you can't have the thing develop its own personality and be its own person and then be a pair without first saying, okay, but it hijacks Peter's personality, trying to make them one organic being against Peter's will. You can't really do that without confusing people, without making people who didn't read the source material feel alienated. I've seen people talk about the MCU like watching its homework. Those are the fans that watch the movies. And once the TV shows started coming out, they went, okay, I can't keep up. I'm just going to watch the movies that come out, or I'm going to watch the movies that people say are good. Those are the, I would say, majority of the, like, MCU fans, because comics and comic collecting is still niche from what I can see. It's why there's not too many comic stores. Like, there's only, like, 5 within 30 minutes of me. Maybe I just don't live in a very populated area, but it's only like 5 within 30 minutes of me. And then when I go to college, I'm in a big city. There's only like 10 within 30 minutes of me. And that's with the interstate, 30 minutes on the interstate. So it's like most of the people who watch these movies, who watch reviews like this, are MCU fans who would consider reading the original source material just so they can watch the movie as homework. And it's not good to alienate that fan base, and that fan base will be very upset with Marvel. And while I think if they introduce it in Secret Wars, that's the direction that they have to take, because it's the only one that will make narrative sense and be good as a narrative, I don't think it's good for the audience the MCU has garnered. And it kind of pains me to say that, but I think that is the case. Now, obviously, let me know. I am open to all forms of discussion. Yo, what's up, Lean? What's up, Lean Septiceye? I know yo ass the only one watching this far. And if you did watch this far, you'll probably Sky on Spotify. Appreciate y'all. Salutes, my brothers and sisters. I don't know any of you. I'll see you.